what I'm gathering from this is, especially also when you said you can call up a mayor, you disagree with some actions that he took. That's fine. You disagreed, and then you pull your support. There are probably other candidates that, maybe Wayne Hall, you said, I'd like you to do this. The point is, who are you to give direction to these elected officials who live here and operate in the community to run their business, if you will? When you live in the North Shore, you're not a resident of the corridor, and as Mimi said, you don't know what goes on here amongst our families and our cultures, but yet you're deciding on what candidates are going to be put up, and then so you're limiting the field as to who we can choose, and then they must go along with what you say, because you pretty much said it. You didn't say those exact words, but I can infer from that, well, if they don't follow what you say, then they're going to be not get the Democratic line in the future. And we as a people tend to vote Democratic, partly our fault because we're not educating ourselves, we're not getting involved, we're not taking the extra steps to know what's going on in the community. So then when someone gets up there with the Democratic line, we don't know who they are, we just necessarily vote for them. So it's true, and I see why Robin is upset. You do wield a lot of power when you can pick up the phone and say to an elected official, oh, I want you to do this, or I don't want you to do that. And that's the concern. You wield so much power, but yet you're not part of this community. I think the growth of the TCC is because of your own actions. So the question, and Sergio had put it out earlier, is, there's an old adage, you keep on doing what you always did, you're going to keep on getting what you always got. So, it's great that you come here for this dialogue. I think that's a very good thing, that we can start to work together and then come up with candidates that we all support, and then get the Democratic machine behind them, so that we don't have to split and the community be fractious. Because when we're split and fractious like this, we're not getting anywhere collectively. But you do wield an enormous amount of power, so when you kind of like trying to placate us, oh, I don't really have control over that, but you yourself said, well, I call it this one, tell this one I want that. So,
again,
so the question,
words in my mouth a little bit
well,
here,
that's what,
no,
well, but, okay, but, all
Let me
right,
answer that, and I will.
perception is reality.
No, it's
So,
not. Perception
yes,
is
perception is reality, and that's the perception of what people are hearing here. The change is good that you're here.
And I'm
How,
glad I am.
how are we gonna go forward?
Well,
What are we gonna do
let me
differently?
first just say this. When I work and the party works toward the election of a candidate, what do? We raise a lot of money. We need money. You gotta put TV ads on, or you have to put literature in the street. You gotta do those things. You gotta hire people sometimes to distribute literature and get out vote. You gotta get money. You have volunteers. You gotta recruit volunteers who are gonna do the work. We do all of that. And we do it on the basis of the fact that the party will elect people who will support their values, their principles I've spoken about. I did not say, and I do not, call up on the phone and direct mayors or other electeds or Dorothy Gooseby or anybody how to vote in particular ways and do what they have to do. There are times after someone is in office that an issue comes up that is important, is extraordinary, and I will call and I will question. It is not often, but it does happen. It is not with regularity, but it does happen. The issue that came up immediately upon Andrew taking office as mayor was this pay raise business, and it was an explosive issue that I thought was detrimental to us, so I did call, and I did raise it. But again, the statement that I'm all powerful and have all this ability, I have to balance it very carefully, and I agree with you that it should not be that the Democratic chairman, and I happen to live on the North Shore, you'll have one that lives on the South Shore, and you'll have other people have an issue with it. But I do not believe that it's my position to dictate the exact details of who does what, where, particularly in a club situation. I just don't do it. I have probably 18, 20 clubs in the county. I don't pick their leadership, I don't pick their boards, I don't recommend them. That's the grassroots element. That's where I want people to come up from. And it's not for me to do that.
They call it J Vision, just so you know. J Vision. They call it J Vision. They go, oh, this person has J Vision, meaning that they're following your vision. And if you don't have J Vision, you don't work out in the party.
Who calls it that?
A lot of people. J Vision. I didn't make it up. I didn't know
Wish it
you.
was so.
Okay, we've got a number of hands up, and I want to make sure that we try and get to folks, and then Jay, we want to end with some concrete